Hey everyone, Aslah here. So this is my iPhone 13 mini and I've been using this about 10 months now. So in this video I want to show you what apps I use, what widgets I use, and basically how I go about my life using this iPhone. I saw a lot of people posting similar type of videos and I think it's interesting to see how other people use their phones because I feel like there's always a new app or a new widget which you never heard of, and I find it super interesting to learn about them. So let's jump right into it. So this is my home screen, and mainly I had two focuses to keep it simple and minimal, and also helps me maximize my productivity even though sometimes I just want to scroll through my social media. So I have mainly three smart stacks here and one normal widget. So on the top here I have the main smart stack which scrolls through weather, my fitness tracking app, my notes, and my emails, and YouTube to have a quick search in the YouTube in case. And if I go back to my email, if I want to search something quickly on my email, I can do that as well. And to quickly search something on the YouTube, I have a YouTube app. So if I just click it, it would open my YouTube. So that's pretty handy. And then I have my Google Maps where I could just put in a place wherever I want to go to. Mainly I use it to navigate my public transport or if I'm driving somewhere. Then it's back to the weather. So those are my main apps that I most commonly use in that stack. And over here I have another smart stack which contains my podcast. So usually you get a preview of the last podcast you were listening to. And then you have the clock app. On the clock app, I have all the cities where I have friends and families in. So I could just quickly pop in and see what's the time there whenever I'm having a conversation with them. So that's pretty handy. And then I have a calendar. So if I want to get a quick pop into a calendar view, that's there. And then I have Apple Music and photos. So it just previews some featured pictures here. And then I have my reminders and back to podcast. So reminders is also pretty handy. So if I want to see something here that's to be reminded, I can just scroll one back and see all my reminders. And also I have my reminders here on the home screen, so I could just see it there. So on the right here, I have a photos app, self-explanatory. I have my notes app, so it's on the home screen on the first page so that I could easily take notes. And I have Google Map, of course, and then I have my Gmail and calendar, camera, of course you need them, and reminders, my clock app. So on the bottom right corner here, I have my Notion widget. So that widget is solely for Notion and it opens up my YouTube video project workspace. I keep it there because whenever I have a new video idea or whenever I want to write something down related to YouTube, I could just simply pop in and note it down here somewhere. I have a board here where I track all the videos, so it's pretty handy. And I like how it looks on my home screen. And here on my home deck, I have pretty basic apps. I would say it comes default, the calling app and the Safari and the Apple Music. Whenever you buy a new iPhone, it's usually the default apps, and I never managed to change it because these are the apps that I commonly use anyways. So you need, of course, the calling and the Safari. I know a lot of people are torn between using Safari and Google Chrome, but I never download Google Chrome on my phone. Even though I have Chrome on my MacBook, I don't use Chrome on my phone. I think it's a bit laggy. It takes a lot more computing power than normal. And I think Safari is pretty fast, and I can also sync all my search results from my Safari here and on my MacBook. I think a lot of people are gonna hate me for this because Safari doesn't have a lot of the features that Chrome has, which I totally agree with. Safari still doesn't have a translator. I don't know why Apple couldn't do something like a normal translator like Google Chrome has, simply where you right click and press translate, but Safari still doesn't have it and it still annoys to me this day. But I just find Safari too fast to use, so I still have Safari here and I have my iMessage and my Apple Music. So those are all pretty handy on the main deck. Moving on to my second page, here I have all the apps split into two categories, if I may. So in the middle, I have a Google Translate app. So if a lot of you didn't know, I live in the Czech Republic. Even though I do speak language a bit and I do understand, most of the time you will end up translating because I'm not fluent. And if you're buying a new product or looking something up in the supermarket, you usually want to translate something to make sure you're getting the right thing. So if I just pop open the camera here, I could directly scan something and translate it. And of course, you can also translate the text. So that is in the middle, and on the top, I have all the config apps, I would like to call them. So I have the health app and the fitness and the Apple Watch app right there. And on the top right corner, I have my wallet, then the settings, files, and find my, in case if I lose one of my products, I could still find them or ring them. And I have my Audible as well there. And on the bottom part, I have this more or less creative space, I would say. I have my iMovies, even though I don't usually edit that much on my iPhone, but there are instances sometimes I just want to quickly do something on for a video and put it into one single form. I do use it. And I have my LinkedIn app there. I use it quite often. I have my YouTube and YouTube Studio. So YouTube, self-explanatory. If I want to watch something, I would go there. And also if I want to check my channel, what's going on there. And YouTube Studio, if you're a creator, you will understand. It gives you two different feelings. Either you're happy or sad by opening it. If you have a well-performing video, you go in there and you see all of the check marks in green, and it's a good feeling. Otherwise, if you're having a bad performing video, the metrics won't be that happy. YouTube Studio, then I have my Lightroom where I edit all my pictures. Mostly I edit on my bigger phone, not here, but I have it synced. So in case if I want to get the same presets and stuff, I have everything synced here. I like to go in there and check my latest photos. So this is the thumbnail from my previous video, and I edited it here and adds all the stuff. As you can see here, I have all the pictures that I usually edit. They're synced in Lightroom. So on the right there, I have my podcast, even though I barely access it from here because I have the smart widget on my first page. And last but not the least, I have my F1 TV app here. So I'm an avid F1 fan, so I do have a subscription to their F1 TV because it's a lot easier to just stream it over there. So I have the app. I don't have any push notification or anything, but sometimes if the race starts and if I'm outdoors somewhere and I just want to start the race on my phone, I could watch it. And it's pretty handy. You have everything over here. You can also mirror it to your smart TV. If you have a smart TV, you just play it on your phone and you can mirror it. It's a great app. It's very well built and I love it. So moving on to my final page, I don't have many things going on here. So here it's basically I have a bunch of categories that I don't want to be displayed at all times. So the number one thing is the most obvious, socials, where I have all my social medias. WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, and Messenger. Even though I do have Facebook, I rarely use it. These days, I only use Facebook to use Marketplace. If I want to buy something from the Marketplace secondhand, I go over there, look it up. And surprisingly, Facebook's Marketplace is a much better place than actually using it for social media. Well, at least that's my opinion. So I do have Messenger and Twitter. I like going there, Instagram, WhatsApp. The main reason I have them sorted out in these tab groups is mainly because I don't want them to be open out there where I can simply tap it and go there and scroll through my social media at all times. So I just want them to be in a dedicated space. So I'm making a conscious choice to go there to my third page and open it unless I want to just search it up. But generally I just don't want them to be out there in the open so that I could just simply tap it open. I want them to be somewhere hidden, so I don't go there that often. So I hope that makes sense. Then I have my tab group for work. Basically, it has all my Outlook teams and all work related stuff. I don't like having those apps on my phone, but sometimes you just need them in case you're going to the office a bit late and you have a meeting, you want to attend the meeting. If you have it on your phone, it's pretty handy. So I like it having it here. And the third app is the travel app. So basically here I have all my travel related apps. So one of them here is a car rental app. So it's Hop I Go. It's something like Airbnb for cars. So you could rent cars from people who are listing it on the platform. So I like it when I want to use it for a road trip, or if I'm going somewhere for a day or two. I can rent my car from there. No big hassles like going into a dedicated rental agency. Next one is my public transport app that I use here in Prague. And then I have a bike sharing app. It's a Recolo, so you can use city bikes just using the app. And then I have Waze whenever I'm driving. Of course, you want to use Waze, even though you have Google Maps or Apple Maps. I don't know whoever uses Apple Maps. I find Apple Map is more accurate if you're using it for walking, because it has building numbers really well registered as opposed to Google Maps. That's what I found. If you're walking, it's great, but for driving, or if I'm using it for general public transport, it's pretty bad. So I use Google Maps most of the time, but if I'm driving, I like to use Waze, because of course Waze has all this information about the easiest route, which has the least traffic, the police, if there's an accident. So Waze is pretty great. I love it. So moving on, next one, I have a tab group for my finances, where I have all my bank related apps, my wallet, my other digital banking apps. And final here, I have my utilities tab group, where I have all these miscellaneous apps that I use. Voice memos, pretty self-explanatory, but I use them a lot. Sometimes if I want to record some voice and I don't have access to a mic, I usually use iPhone's recording app. And then I have Measure, which I use quite a lot. If I want to buy a piece of furniture or something and I want to measure something, and you don't always have access to a tape, you could just measure something and use it from there. Calculator, and then Compass. So socials, it's pretty much everything I showed. Then I do have the productivity and finance group, which is basically finance and work related apps. That's Apple's tab group. And in travel, what else do I have? So here, bunch of car sharing apps. More car sharing. Anytime is another car sharing app, which I just use for city drives. So if I'm just commuting inside city somewhere longer to take a public transport, but shorter enough to drive, I would just rent a car from one of these car sharing platforms. So Anytime is one of them. And Uniqua is also another app where you can rent cars just from your app. Then you have bike sharings, Recolo, we already spoke about that. Then it's Google Maps, Apple Map, Waze, it's all in travel category. And I have one app here, it's called Accor. I downloaded it once when I wanted to book a hotel somewhere, and they had pretty good deals in there. This is the reason why I have it still there. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna use it, but yes, I do have that. And I also have Bolt. Bolt is basically the Uber here in Europe. We did have Uber here, but they went out of business and they decided they're not operating it here anymore. And unlike the States, most of the European countries here has pretty strict laws on how other big companies operate here in Europe. So if a company like Uber comes and decides to start their business in one of the countries, the government in that specific EU country would look really tight into it. So the EU government does not want other countries to take their citizens' money. So they don't want their revenue to go to a third party country. So they always promote their local businesses and their local services. Bolt is based in Estonia. Basically, they're like the Uber here in Europe. Most of the places you will see there is Bolt. Moving on, I have a couple of other tab groups that Apple suggested here as well. So I have the entertainment, F1 TV we already went through. Shazam is something I think most people use if they want to find a song they like and they happen to hear it somewhere outdoors. And I have a karting app. This is basically an app for the karting place that I go to. And this app gives you information like what was your session time in your last outing, and the leaderboards if you happen to go with your friends and colleagues. So it's a pretty handy app that I use. So moving on, I have nothing much really here. I have a creativity tab group here where I do have a couple of other apps as well, including Lightroom, Snapseed. Imaging Edge is basically an app that I use to control my camera using my phone, so I do have that as well. And at the bottom here, I do have games. I'm not a big gamer, so I don't have many games here. The only game I have here is 8 Ball and chess. Both of them I play with friends. 8 Ball is something that you can just play on your iMessage. So if you happen to not talk to one of your friends for a long time, you can just initiate the conversation by sending an invitation to an 8 Ball game. It's basically a pool game where you can just play it on your iMessage keyboard space. I like them, and I have a chess app where I play chess. That's all the games I have here. And at the bottom here, I have some shopping app, which is eBay and Tesco. So that's pretty much it. So that's been it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little tour into my mini iPhone here. It's a small iPhone, so I like to keep things pretty simple and minimal, even though I think it's not very minimal. But hey, at the end of the day, it's a phone and I need to get stuff done, and this lets me do that. hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have been, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.